Whether you buy off-brand figures from AliExpress or Temu, or you buy any official figures from like Games Workshop, step number one, always remove all the seam lines and fix any imperfections that model has. Keeping all these imperfections and then painting over them, it will take away from the art aspect of your figure. So pet peeve number one, remove seam lines, close all the gaps, fix any imperfection that plastic has. There are many products that you can use to close your gaps or fix imperfections. The most effective one, in my opinion, is UV resin with a UV flashlight. For this video, I'll be doing cell shading style. For the most part, the majority of Vegeta will be in the cell shading style, and the base and some of the effects are gonna have more of a gradient, and I'll be using Pro Acryl paints. For those who don't know, cell shading is the process of making a three-dimensional object look two-dimensional by creating these layers of paint and reducing the gradient between colors. So essentially, you're gonna do layers and you're going to avoid smoothing any transitions. You're gonna have your muscle islands and you're gonna have your transitions to be visible to the eye. One easy way to add more interest, especially if you're painting blues, is using a clear color. In this case, I'm using a purple blue color. This helps with the shading area. It just creates more depth and more interest because you have other tones in there. And then you bring back some of those highlights again with the cell shading style. In this case, I'm using a mix of the white blue with the regular blue. Something very important to note with cell shading, and I believe pretty much any work, is to avoid covering your previous work. So as you see, you can see all the layers of blue that I have on here. It's super important that when you do this style that you show each layer accordingly. At this point, you're going to follow these steps for all the sections of your model. If you have issues knowing where to place your highlights, do some research before you start painting. There's a lot of videos out there. I can probably do a video in the future. And lastly, here, this model was painted completely with Pro Acryl from Monument Hobbies. If you see, there's some other brands on the table. I didn't use any of those. I just decided to do 100% Pro Acryl. And I highly recommend these paints, especially if you are thinking of switching or you just want to try new brands. As you can see, they airbrush beautifully. They brush amazingly. Consistency right out of the bottle is perfect. You also get more product per bottle since they come in a 22 milliliter container. The overall brand is pretty amazing. The community is great. So definitely check them out if you haven't yet. Arguably, the most important step on cell shading is making sure you're adding all your black lines into your shadows. Remember, do not cover your previous shadows with the black. Make sure your lines are thin, and this step will create depth, and it will create the appearance of 2D cell shading. Because I don't have a whole lot of brush control. I'm using a brush that is designed for nails. You can use this if you have the same issue that I do, but if you do have control and are capable of creating lines with your brushes, then go ahead, use your typical brushes. The downside of using these nail brushes is that they don't hold a whole lot of paint, so there's going to be a lot of back and forth, but it helps me create thin lines. Because my base is gonna have some fire effects, I wanted to create some object source light or some environment light. So I'm using burnt red here within the shadows to create the object source light effect. This also helps with contrast, as red and blue are pretty contrasting colors.
Night one.
Invaded my mind and my body, but there's one thing a Saiyan always keeps: his pride!